What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Fast and Furious number 10 review, or Fast X as it is called. I wasn't actually going to go and see this movie because I didn't watch Fast and Furious 9 after the disaster class that was Fast and Furious 8. I mean, just look how high numbers we are. I mean, I think the Fast and Furious franchise peaked at 5 and it probably should have ended at 7. I kind of think Paul Walker's character was my favorite character, and once he unfortunately died, it was kind of just like it would have been a nice note to end on 7. But here we are on number 10. There's definitely going to be a number 11 because they're doing a two-parter, so hopefully that's where they end it. But pretty much after Tokyo Drift, this franchise divulged into like the most plot armory crazy shit you've ever seen. Like literally now, they just do the craziest shit they can think of, and yeah, they put it in a movie. Does it make sense? No. Is it fun to watch? It can be. But anyway, let's talk about this movie. I'll talk about the few things I liked about this movie because there's only a few things I actually liked about this movie. The first thing is Jason Momoa. Shout out to Jason Momoa. I literally think they told him just be as unhinged as you can and just have fun, and that's what he did. He was the best character in this by a mile. I really liked his villain. Some people comparing him to the Joker. I mean, his character is quite unhinged, and there is a few scenes in there where you might go, okay, I could see why the comparisons come in, but I really like Jason Momoa as a actor. I met him in real life once before he was super famous. He was only known as Khal Drogo back then, I remember. The second good thing in this movie is it's like just super fun and action packed. Like some of the sequences are really cool that they pull off. Like I know that's what they spend probably most of their time and budget on. Like the part where the wrecking ball is just going through like Rome, that was pretty fun. It's kind of a homage to Fast and Furious 5, which I think is the best movie. And I think they tried to rekindle that because one thing about this franchise is they're definitely running out of ideas and plot lines. The stories have never been thick as it is. They've never been like super deep. But now they're just kind of trying to interweave plot lines and trying to bring characters back and trying to somehow connect the Fast and Furious verse, which has just gone more crazy and stupid as the movies go on. It's kind of got that John Wick feel to it where, it's not there to make sense, it's there to be fun. Is this movie fun? Not as fun as John Wick, I'll tell you that much. Anyway, let's get into me complaining for the next, 5 or 10 minutes about this movie because this was really not a movie I enjoyed. First and foremost, it's 2.5 hours long, bro. Fast and Furious is not meant to be that long. I like a nice short movie when it comes to crazy shit. When it starts getting to like Avengers Infinity War length and like Endgame length, you're starting to lose me a little bit. And this movie is like watching 10 movies at once. Like, because they have so many characters that need screen time now, it's like watching 5 different plots, but 4 of the 5 plots make no sense and they don't get any development or much screen time, so no one gives a fuck. Literally, Ludacris's character, Tyrese Gibson, and the other girl are in their own arc, and they like to try and shove Jason Statham in there because he needs some screen time because he's a character in this. Then you have Dominic on his own arc, and then you have Letty and Charlize Theron's character doing their own arc, and they have like a 3-minute elongated fight sequence, which is just pointless to the story. Like, I don't understand why they were trying to make like 4 or 5 movies at once. I know the making of this film was quite troubled because Vin Diesel is apparently a real issue to work with these days. I mean, the only 2 roles he plays is fucking Dominic Toretto and Groot, and all he has to do for Groot is say, I am Groot. Apparently, the director quit over him being such a problem. I remember reading that story. Apparently, he wasn't in shape, just difficult to work with. I mean, I think you could see certain scenes where sometimes his arms look really buff, sometimes they didn't. I feel like Vin Diesel just didn't give a fuck about this movie, bro. Like, even some of the acting. Like, it was just so bad. I feel like you could have given me steroids, shaved my head bald, and then I could have gone and played fucking Dom Toretto in this movie. That's how poor it felt to me. Although I haven't watched a Fast and Furious film for a few years, I don't remember Dominic Toretto being that lackluster and boring of a character. Like, he's still doing crazy stunts, don't get me wrong, but like, he's just such a boring character now. It's crazy, man. I feel like Vin Diesel just was like, fuck it, bro, I'm just gonna do what I want. He took pages out of the Groot script because the dialogue in this movie, by the way, is horrible. It's horrendous. That's one thing. That's another thing to hate about this movie. But just they shouldn't put any dialogue in it because the parts without dialogue are pretty fun. But the parts with dialogue, holy shit! I'm currently playing the Resident Evil 4 remake, and it's pretty renowned for cheesy lines and cheesy dialogue. But that's a video game that was made 20 plus years ago, whatever it was, and it just got remastered. This is a movie coming out in 2023, and it has much worse dialogue than that game. Like it's so bad, it's so bad. Well, I guess it's Fast and Furious, it doesn't really matter, but holy shit, bro. It's not just bad dialogue, horrendous plot armor, which I can't really shit on them for the shitty plot armor, but they're just grasping at straws with some of the stuff now. Like they're trying to make the stunts ridiculous, and yes, there's a few ridiculous stunts, but it's just the way they're just like, yeah, we're just gonna bring every character that's ever existed in the Fast and Furious world. We're just gonna bring them all back. Fuck it, like they're just gonna do it. Anyone who's ever been in this, you know, if you've starred in this movie, you're gonna come back for the next movie, surely, because that's what they're reaching for. You know, if you die, you're still alive. You know, that's just how this movie rolls, bro. Like, it's just wacky, bro. It's just so wacky. I can't get my head around it. Anyway, another thing about this movie is there's like 50,000 flashbacks. I've already alluded to like they're trying to bring every character back. And they're trying to relive, you know, the Fast and Furious 5 glory days, which is arguably their best and most entertaining one. They're trying to bring that back. And then suddenly Jason Momoa's character was here and he was experiencing all of this at the same time, and he was there the whole time and he watched it, and he's hated Dominic Toretto forever. And Dominic Toretto is also somehow intermingled with every person in the Fast and Furious verse. If you are living in that world, you know who he is and you hate him for some reason. I don't know why. And my man just wants to live in LA or wherever he lives and have barbecues and drink beer, whatever the fuck he wants to do. I don't even know anymore. One thing that also kind of pissed me off about this movie is when you watch the trailers. When you watch the trailer, they show this like street race scene, which is kind of paying homage to the bread and butter of what Fast and Furious was, which people like me, when we watch Fast and Furious, what we liked. I like Fast and Furious 1 and 2 because of the street racing. They might not be the most sound movies, but I like the street racing. And when they teased that with Jason Momoa, he's like Vin Diesel in the trailer, they're going to do a street race. I was like, all right, that could be fun. And then the whole build up to it's really cool. And I'm like, yes, we're going to get a street race. And then the street race is literally like 20 seconds and, you know, something happens in that fucking street race. It's like, brother, just give us that, bro. The movie is like 2.5 hours long. Can you not give me like 5 minutes of like some good nostalgia of what I come to watch these movies for? Well, I guess they can't do that. They're just too busy with a John Cena rocket car. I didn't watch the John Cena villain one, which was the last movie. Apparently, he was a villain in that movie, and now he's not a villain. So I don't know. It's kind of the whole Jason Statham thing. He was also a villain, and now he's part of the family. It doesn't matter. If you meet Dominic Toretto, you are part of his family. That is how it rolls. But yeah, all in all, would I recommend you watch this movie? You just gotta temper your expectations. If you're walking into Fast X and you know what to expect from this movie, it's like when you walk into John Wick. You don't expect a nice compounded story with deep meanings and all this shit. You just expect to see John Wick beating the fuck out of a bunch of dudes, you know, getting shot 50 times, somehow still being alive and, you know, doing his thing. Fast and Furious, you kind of expect the same shit with cars. They're gonna do some crazy stunts. You know, they're gonna die but still be alive, and, you know, they're gonna do some, you know, very impossible things. And you get that. If that's what you watch Fast and Furious for, I'm sure you'll love this movie. But for me personally, it's not the type of movies I like anymore. Maybe it's just that I'm older, but I'm not even older. I'm only 20, 24, and I just... These type of movies, I don't find them as entertaining. I wasn't the biggest fan of John Wick number 4. I wasn't the biggest fan of this movie. There's also the anime Baki, or Bucky, however you say it. And, you know, a lot of people love it for what it is, and for me, it's kind of the same shit as this. But, yeah. This is not my favorite genre of movies to watch. If you want to discount the horrible dialogue, the terrible plot, the terrible performance from Vin Diesel, and, you know, just really bad flashbacks, you know, it's a great movie, I guess. Finally, let's just give this movie a rating out of 10. I'm gonna give it... What could I give this, man? I want to give it a 4, but I'll give it a 5. I'll give it a 5 out of 10. I don't think I'll ever watch this movie again. I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't very entertaining to me. I just found it kind of boring. I feel like the movie, you could just tell that they were trying to do way too much. They had no idea what they were doing. They probably had some grand ideas, but it just didn't come to fruition. Although they made some cool stunts, I guess. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's my take on Fast X. And yeah, I'll see you all next time.